Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another herb profile to go in my list that I'll be linking to down below. It's a long series. There's a lot of videos in there, and I started this series clear back in 2016. So I've been building on it as I go, and I cannot believe that I have not talked about the benefits of garlic yet. So we're going to get into that today. First off, let's just list a few of the nutrients, and that is B6, fiber, manganese, C, and selenium. And one of the main things garlic is most known for is that it boosts the immunity, which is why it's something people will add to their fire cider or do their honey-infused garlic. And I'll explain this in a bit and why it's the very dark color that it is, because I have several different recipes out there, and I'm going to talk more about that after I get through these benefits. And so anyway, that would be something people would take on a regular basis to help prevent colds, flus, and more, but to also fight colds and flus once they get ill. It's also said to help lower blood pressure. Now, whenever I see something that says lower blood pressure, that's because most people that are trying to deal with blood pressure issues are talking about hypertension, which it's very important to understand that when your blood pressure goes up, it goes up for a reason. It's the way our bodies are designed. So if your blood pressure is going up or staying up chronically, then there's some other underlying issues. So whenever I see something that says lower blood pressure, it's probably more related to helping to deal with whatever issue is causing your blood pressure to be high. Or I look at it as bringing balance to maybe an erratic blood pressure. But I'm also going to link down below to a video I did a few years ago about should we be medicating blood pressure, where I talk about the purpose of it to help you understand better. And the same goes with cholesterol. So garlic does help improve cholesterol levels. So that can help bring proper balance. We shouldn't be looking at it as just trying to lower blood pressure or lower cholesterol, but bringing proper balance to our body when we're eating right, and including wonderful things like raw garlic in particular. This will bring balance to these areas. It's also excellent for brain health, cognitive function, and can prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. Because of its high antioxidant value, that means it is anti-aging and anti-cancer. I'm going to go into the anti-cancer more specifically a bit later. It also, this is interesting, helps enhance athletic performance. In fact, garlic was one of the first things that was used to help enhance athletic performance. It's an excellent blood purifier and helps to detoxify the body from heavy metals. It improves bone and heart health. If you use raw garlic topically, it can actually help prevent and reduce acne. I would also think that consuming raw garlic on a regular basis would do the same thing from the inside out. But if you've got a bad case of acne, just rub garlic directly on there and give that a try. Just keep in mind that garlic can be a little hot for some people when used that way. So I would test it first and see how you respond. And another interesting point is that in food, it can kill Salmonella and E. coli bacteria. So when you're using it in your food or using it in food preservation, obviously you're not going to want to use it in everything. This is something that can help prevent that. It's also antifungal. So it can be used for athlete's foot in a couple of different ways. So just like with the acne, you can just like slice open a piece of garlic, a clove of garlic, rub it directly on the fungal infections, or like in the case of athlete's foot, make basically a garlic tea as a foot soak, and then just soak your foot or feet in it. Now, coming back to the cancer thing, it helps to lower the risk specifically of lung cancer, prostate cancer, and it actually destroys brain cancer cells. It lowers the risk of osteoarthritis and is also a powerful antibiotic, which I believe it should have been one of those listed in one of the early lists that I did when I started putting those together a few years ago on natural antibiotics, which includes echinacea and nasturtium leaf and more. And by the way, I'll link to that full playlist as well. So for each particular thing, I compiled a list of herbs and more that can help with that. For example, another early one I did was natural pain relief, where I listed off many different things that can be used to help alleviate pain. I've done one on cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, one on skin health, hair health, and so much more. It's also good topically for just general wound healing. So scratches, burns, I would say anything that's pretty much a superficial wound, you can apply directly. And again, because of its antibiotic, antibacterial, antifungal, and high antioxidant properties taken internally, this can help with wound healing from the inside out. It also improves digestion, but just be cautious when eating it raw. Some people can be sensitive to it when eating it in high quantities raw. So just again, like I always say, when taking any kind of natural herb or whatever, always listen to your body and pay attention to any symptoms that might come on. And if everything's good, you can increase slowly the amount you're taking over time. And as soon as you start seeing any symptoms, back off. In fact, quit it for at least a few days and then slowly introduce it back in again. It's also great for eye health, helping to control asthma and promoting weight loss. It is an anti-parasitic, and more specifically, as far as infections go, because of its antibiotic properties, it is specifically good for urinary tract infections and kidney infections. Now, let's talk a little bit about ways you can use it. So, other than adding it to anything that you're cooking or baking that you want that garlic flavor in, obviously, whenever I'm making things like spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, ravioli sauce, any of my Italian sauces, I go heavy on the garlic. In fact, I go heavy on garlic in just about any of the meals that I make because we absolutely love garlic. But aside from all that, when we're talking about taking it more medicinally, capsules can be fine, but if you're buying capsules or making capsules out of dried garlic, it's not going to be near as effective as taking raw garlic. So 2 of the more popular forms are in the form of fire cider, which I haven't made in years. I keep saying I'm going to make it again someday, especially now that I have my own horseradish as well. So here's a picture I took years ago of just one of the ones I made, and I believe to that I had added turmeric, which is giving it that yellow color, but I also blended it up. I didn't just, like some people, I'm going to put some other pictures of the way other people make fire cider. Well, they'll use whole pieces of the vegetables and add those in there. And then with the vinegar, whether it be apple cider vinegar or their own homemade vinegar of some other variety, they usually let it sit for, I think it's about 2 weeks, and just let everything absorb. And then they strain out all the vegetables and then just drink the liquid. Whereas with me, I would just blend it all up, let it sit, and that way everything was in there. I know I'm getting everything in there, and I'm getting all that great fiber too. And then I just eat it with a spoon. And I liked it that way. In fact, it tasted to me very similar to kimchi, which I love, and I use a lot of garlic in that. And then, of course, I mentioned the honey-infused garlic. Now, I've made it several different ways because I love to experiment. I've enjoyed every way. My favorite way, though, was the very first way I made it, where I added the cinnamon and cloves and I think ginger. I did a video recipe just on that. And then later on, I made something similar, left out all those spices, still put in my hot peppers, but then put in some black seed. I really like that. And then this version here, the ugliest looking one, this has black seed in it, which is part of the reason why it has such a dark color, but it also has moringa powder in there because I'm trying to find ways to get moringa into my daily diet. And I'm also trying to remember to take some garlic like this every day. I don't have any specific video recipes on doing this, so I've mentioned it before. Really what it comes down to, it can be something as simple as taking your raw garlic, putting it and pouring a bunch of raw honey over the top of it in the jar and letting it sit for several days. And, so the honey can really infuse into the garlic and the garlic into the honey, and then consuming it that way. And that is the most common way. I just like adding more things to get more benefits. And if I'm taking it this anyway and I'm wanting to get more moringa and I don't want to make any more capsules, then I can do this. You can also add turmeric, whatever it is you think your body needs most, and you don't want to take capsules and you don't like to cook with it, this is one way that you can do that. So, but the next time I make it, I'm going to add the cinnamon to it. I'm going to do the moringa still, even though it makes it look kind of ugly, and the black seed, because that's just another way I can get those on a daily basis. But I also want to add the cloves and the cinnamon and the ginger to it because I love the flavor that it adds to it. I know a lot of people will simply pick out the garlic and eat it out of the honey, and then they'll just add more garlic to that same honey. But I look at things very differently. Instead, what I prefer to do is eat it with a spoon. So when I keep the garlic whole, crushing the garlic will also help everything to infuse in there better, or chopping it up. But I'll just eat it with a spoon and take a spoonful of, there'll be several little cloves of garlic in there, plus the liquid of the honey and whatever else is in the liquid. So I'm getting everything in there. So instead of recycling the honey for a new batch, I'm just making a whole new batch, because that raw honey has got a lot of great benefits to it as well. Okay, funny thing, I just changed my clothes because I'm getting ready to shoot the next video, but I forgot to mention something else about garlic, and that is the garlic greens. So if you're growing garlic, don't forget you can use those greens. And I like to just leave my garlic in the ground and constantly use those greens. They have a lot of benefits too, though I still believe you're going to find most of the most powerful benefits in the raw garlic clove itself. The greens have a lot of benefits, and you can use them in cooking. I'll dehydrate them up and use them in several ways. I'll add them to salads. I also like to use them to make a garlic oregano vinegar, which not only makes a great salad dressing mixed with whatever oil or other spices you want to add to it, but mostly I like to use it in my chickens' water, so to help keep them healthy and strong and prevent getting viruses and so on. All right, well, that's it for my video on the benefits of garlic, and please share with us any thoughts or ideas you have on this. How has garlic helped you with any ailment that you've had? What is your favorite way to consume it? If you make a honey-infused garlic and you add your own spices to it, what's your favorite way to do that, or your favorite additions to your fire cider? And so people can learn from you as well. And one of these days, I'll remember to get some more fire cider made, just so I can show you how I do it. Oh, and don't forget to check out the links in the description box down below. You got to make sure you click on show more. It's going to be, depending on what device you're on, it's down here somewhere in this long horizontal box. And just click on that. It'll open it up and you'll be able to find all the links. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.